Let's get this party started. Tarnation TV production, Flat Out Racing Network on commentary. This is the final race of season number 68 here at the Talladega Challenge. It's Rolling Thunder Gaming, one of the longest running leagues here in our beloved sim. I'll just stop talking. We got a full house tonight. My name is Blaine Donlin. We got Jack Mitchell, we got Kyle Matthews, and we got Seth Cole from the Flat Out Racing Network.
Yeah, and what a season it has been. We have seen a total of 11 different drivers go to victory lane over the course of the completed 14 races, and it now all comes down to this. It's really been the Joe DeSpirito show, but Kyle, last week, did we see a little chink in the armor of driver 24, Sandoval, Jeremy Jeffries, Bob Seminara getting stage points, solid top 5 runs, and they have DeSpirito within striking distance. He's got one more race, though, to close it out.
Yeah, he's up 18 points over the nearest competitor, that being Ulysses Sandoval, 18 points. That's a comfortable lead, but it's not a shoe-in by any means. There are plenty of opportunities here to gain points here tonight, and if my math is correct, somebody could gain. There's a possibility of somebody gaining 12 bonus points alone to try to overtake DeSpirito. That is, if somebody can win a stage, lead a lap, and then lead the most laps right there. That is, if my math is correct.
And your math would be correct. I believe that the most total points with all that you mentioned, as well as winning the race that a driver could get, is 58 total points here tonight. We have 34 drivers that are scheduled to take the green flag here this evening. And Jack, we've been covering the season finales of championship week since Monday. Most of those championship battles were all but decided when the green flag dropped. But we mentioned about the fact that despite that fact, in those races, there was still everybody in the field, whether they were running for a championship or not, that wanted to end out the season with a checkered flag. Could we have a 12th different driver go to victory lane here tonight? Drivers that aren't anywhere close to the championship picture that want to carry some great momentum from the end of season 68 into season 69.
Absolutely. A lot of these drivers really that haven't really had much of a say in the championship fight are going to want to do everything they can tonight, knowing it's their last chance to end up in victory lane, and that can motivate them to try some unique strategies that we might not be used to.
You're looking right now at the point standings coming into tonight concerning the 18 drivers that began this chase for the championship. As mentioned, 58 points is the most that you can gain. That's if you end up leading a lap, the most laps, winning the stage, and winning the race. So mathematically, the top 8 drivers in the point standings have a shot of winning this title. However, we've talked about this, Kyle. It seems like whether somebody's battling somebody else for a spot in the playoffs, back in the previous seasons, battling for an elimination spot, or even the case here tonight, as we'll be keeping an eye on Jeremy Jeffries and Joe DeSpirito as they duke it out for the Bracket Challenge Championship. It always seems like at super speedways, whoever you are battling, you always seem to find them in the same area as you, whether it's the front, middle, or back of the pack. It's going to be really difficult for a lot of these drivers like Roberts, Jeffries, Causey, Sullins, and Wesley to gain enough ground on the drivers ahead of them. We're basically looking at a 2-horse race between DeSpirito and Sandoval. Maybe if they run into issues, then we can enter Seminara and others into the conversation.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, how we always talk about that, how these drivers that are racing each other always seem to find each other on the racetrack, and that's just kind of coincidental and just kind of the product of their sticker plate racing. But tonight, I would guarantee between DeSpirito and Sandoval, and maybe, probably DeSpirito and Jeffries as well, as they're racing for the Bracket Challenge Championship, they're going to be wondering where they're at all times. I would imagine so. At least I would be if I was in that situation.
Jack, during the last 72 hours, we have seen maybe something unprecedented here in RTG, where a driver has, in 3 straight nights, won the finale race and the championship. Grant Wesley won the finale on Monday night, took home the Bare Bones Racing Championship. On Tuesday night, we saw him take the checkers at Phoenix and win the championship there. And then last night, in what was at the beginning of the evening a close battle between himself and Supta, took the checkered flag at Edgewater in the Area 8 Series and won the championship. Now, he's the long shot driver here tonight to win the championship, but could Grant Wesley, who's a former winner this season, potentially go a perfect 4 for 4 in checkered flags during championship week?
You know he's certainly motivated to do so, but this is arguably going to be the hardest race that he does it in because of all the madness that can unfold at Talladega. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of drivers that want to get that agenda, as we were just talking about. But yeah, I feel like Grant has, maybe a little bit of a target on his back as well. Some of these drivers that have raced in these last couple of races over the last 72 hours might have, they might be a little bit more motivated to chase after him, knowing that he got all those wins over the course of this week, took home all those trophies. So this is probably their last chance this week, this season, to take some kind of victory away from the driver of the 88.
And so you're saying Grandhausen has cursed the competition?
Oh, he has.
Oh, yeah.
Grandhausen's been hot this week, and I don't think he's got any signs of slowing down. I'm going to put both of you on the hot seat here and put you in the scenario of one of the two drivers that we're going to be putting most of our focus on here tonight, Joe DeSpirito and Ulysses Sandoval. This entire playoffs, including tonight, all 18 chase drivers starting at the rear of the field. Kyle, I'm going to start with you in the scenario of Joe DeSpirito. Last week, we saw him run into trouble early. He ended up getting spun down in the infield grass. He got put a lap down, got the free pass, was able to battle back for a 14th place position. But here tonight, if you're Joe DeSpirito, are you charging to the front as soon as the green flag drops? Or are you playing it just a little bit more reserved, especially in the first half of this race?
If I'm in Joe DeSpirito's position, I'm going to continue to do what got me here. DeSpirito has been extremely consistent throughout the entire chase. Yeah, he did run into some problems last week, but he was able to recover from that and salvage something, and that's really how you win a championship right there. You got to take bad days, turn them into decent days at the very least, and hope that you don't have to do that again. But, the unpredictability of super speedway racing, you never really know. But, if I'm Joe DeSpirito, I'm not doing anything, really different, because everything he's done has worked. It's got him to this point.
Jack, Ulysses sits 18 points back. We know he's not afraid to go outside the box when it comes to pit strategy, fuel, what have you, at a super speedway race. But when we talked with him last week, he said 18 points is a lot of ground to make up. With that being said, does he have to pretty much just try to get to the front and hope that DeSpirito runs into problems behind him? Or can he afford that here in the early portion of the race? Because in order to even take a fight to Joe DeSpirito, he's got to make sure he keeps that car clean.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, if I was in Ulysses' shoes, I would actually have a bit more of a sense of urgency early on to try to get to the front of the field. Obviously, the consistency is what's going to matter, and finishing a lot of spots ahead of Joe DeSpirito is also going to matter as well. But that's out of your hands. You can't control what happens with Joe here tonight. You just need to worry about what you can control in terms of your own race, and try your best to work your way up to the front of the field as quickly as you can to try to make sure that you can consistently stay up there and not lose too many positions when it could be too little too late later on in the race.
Based off the random qualifying draw, Ulysses Sandoval will start ahead of Joe DeSpirito. He's currently slated to roll off the grid from the 26th position. Joe DeSpirito is going to start deep in the field, almost at the rear of the field, as he will be slated in the 31st position. So it will be really interesting to follow those drivers. And Joe's fighting a war on two fronts as well. Not only does he have to hold off Ulysses Sandoval for the overall championship, but last week, Jeremy Jeffries was able to finish ahead of Joe DeSpirito, so he sends the Bracket Challenge Championship into this final race tonight. Whoever finishes the highest of those two will claim that title. So if you're Joe DeSpirito, how much more of a distraction is it, Kyle, to not only have to keep an eye on where the 096 is, but also keep an eye out there for the one car?
I think you really have to focus on one thing at this point. It's like if I were him, I'd be focusing on the main championship. If I could have that well in hand, then I would look at the bracket challenge. But I mean, if you're trying to focus on two different things in this situation, it's not going to end well. So he needs to focus on just one thing for the time being.
Well, these drivers are moments away from gridding up on pit road and taking the final green flag of season 68. So far, we have crowned Grant Wesley as the Bare Bones Racing Series, the iRacing Series, and the Aero 88 Series champion here for season 68. Who is going to take the crown here for the Talladega Challenge Series? We talk every time, week in, week out on Thursday evenings to our podium finishers, and those that finish in victory lane, they savor these victories because they are so hard to come by. Last week, we saw Ken Roberts add his name to the short list of multi-time winners this season. Himself, Rodney Sullins, and Tim Knopfsker, the only drivers that have been able to double down on checkered flags. Could we have a 3-time winner by the time the season comes to a close? Could we have a first overall time winner here on Thursday nights? We will have to wait and see. So as the zeros have hit the clock for happy hour, we'll take you through the starting lineup for this evening's race. Again, 34 drivers going to be taking the green flag in this one. Robert Breedlove, I'm going to have to double check, but I believe that this is maybe the third time that he has gotten, nope, correction, it's the second time that he has gotten the pole position in random qualifying. He's going to share that front row with Donnie Garrett. Dennis McCarthy will be in row number 2 alongside of Brian Rawson. Row 3 finds Bernie Mobbs and Graham McDonald. Glenn Harris, Sean Turner will be in row 4, and your top 10 will be completed with Cy Jones and John Godfrey. Row 6 is going to be Jeffrey Elliott and Robert Spring. Row 7, Jeff Crivello, Cody Lamas. Row 8 finds Bobby Farrell and Rod Weston, with row 9, Mike Mangialardi, Billy Elliser. Your top 20 going to be completed by the highest of your playoff drivers. That will be Bob Seminara, third in points, 25 points back, and 3-time champion this week, Grant Wesley. Back in row 11 finds Michael Norman alongside of 2-time winner Tim Knopfsker. Row 12, Chuck McClure and Jeremy Jeffries. Row 13 will be Rodney Sullins and Ulysses Sandoval, second in points, minus 18. Then in row 14, Josh Metallic, Mark Paglia. Your top 30 will completed by Ken Roberts and Greg Palmer, with Joe DeSpirito back in the 31st position. Denny Carroll and Craig Hagley will make up the rest of the field. I said 34 drivers. It's actually going to be 33 drivers that are going to take the green flag here tonight. Well, we definitely know that drivers, more than likely, that aren't in the hunt for the title, going to be a little bit more aggressive here tonight to pick themselves up a checkered flag. Let's not forget, you win here tonight, you lock yourself into the future Super Speedway All-Star race as well, so a lot of future ramifications could be surrounding this race. And not only that, we're going to only be about 3 weeks removed from when season 69 will kick off, and you certainly would love to go into that brand new season with the momentum of being the one that took the last checkered flag here at Talladega.
Yeah, that can definitely carry a long way if you win the season finale. If we remember last season, the last time we had the All-Star race, that was won by Ken Roberts, and he's took that momentum into this season. He's had a great season, won 2 races so far. So, yeah, if you want you definitely want to end the season on a high note, and you can definitely carry that into the next season.
Can't help but think about last night, Jack, when we ended up seeing that 2-point battle between Supta and Grant Wesley. The race at Edgewater went caution-free. The deciding factor was an errant entry onto pit road by Supta. We've seen these races on Thursday nights trend green, and drivers have to make green flag pit stops. How much preparation do you think specifically Jeffries, DeSpirito, and Sandoval put into making sure that they're hitting their marks if these pit stops have to take place under green? Because the last thing you want to do is give away this championship, these 2 respective championships, on a penalty.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like knowing the amount of dedication that these drivers put into this sim and running these races, I feel like they kept themselves awake at night trying to think about what they're going to do on pit road here. But again, it just comes down to that talk. I feel like we've been repeating it constantly. We sound like a broken record, but it still reigns true today. Do not make any mistakes on pit road. Execution is everything. You do not want to lose out on a championship because you had one little hiccup happen off the racing surface.
So far this season, we have run 923 laps. It has brought us to this point. There are 66 laps left to decide the championship. Joe DeSpirito taking on Ulysses Sandoval for the overall championship, as Robert Breedlove and Donnie Garrett get us under the final green flag of season 68.
Breedlove gets a good jump right there, but he's far out ahead of the second car in line right there, Dennis McCarthy. But it's like Breedlove's going to carry the momentum. It's going to clearly have the lead off turns 1 and 2, onto the back straightaway.
This is an important race for Robert Breedlove. He's led 42 laps so far this season, but still sits 29th in the standings. Talk about these races having future ramifications. How about that battle for the drivers trying to get themselves into the top 30 in points at season's end? If you finish inside the top 30 in points when the checker flag waves here tonight, you are guaranteed to take the first 3 green flags next season to kick off season 69.
That is a big ramification right there, because we've seen so many times, not this week, and I don't think we had last week, but a lot of times we have a full field of cars and they have to go through knockout qualifying. So to not have that stress of needing to make the field each week, that's a lot to race for right there.
Well, it has not taken them long to get 3 wide. That is 4, almost 5, 6 rows deep as Chuck McClure and Josh Metallic up there.
Oh boy, Jeffrey Elliott really pushed up right there. Nearly had a problem, but he kept it together.
Robert Spring right behind him. Robert's another driver hovering around that 30th position in the standings. Billy Elliser in the field as well. So keep an eye on all of those drivers here tonight that will look to finish solidly to keep themselves either above that cut line or maybe jump into that top 30 at the conclusion.
Oh boy, there are 4 wide right here. You see Bob Seminaro, Chuck McClure, Jeremy Jeffries in that battle as well. They got awfully close. Grant Wesley right there, Tim Knopfsker, Michael Norman. So a lot of chasers right there in that one position. 4 wide situation. That had to have been hairy.
McClure looked like he was going to have a look inside there. Didn't quite get that wrong, but that would have been a very nerve-wracking 4 wide situation early on in this race.
Saw Joe DeSpirito fall to the back. Looked like he was in the middle line. I don't know if he got shuffled out or if he went there of his own fruition. Ulysses Sandoval has also drifted back there. That's another thing, too, is I think we kind of saw a little bit of this last week, Kyle, where Joe DeSpirito, he didn't exactly garner a lot of help. Nobody wanting to keep him up at the front. They want to gain the points on them, so obviously he'll look to find some teammates during the course of this race, but the ally list might be rather short for him.
Yeah, one of the guys that he usually works with is somebody that has a mathematical shot at winning the championship. That's Bob Seminaro. We just saw him right there in that 4 wide situation. So it kind of makes me wonder, are those two going to work together tonight, or are they both of them trying to go out and win this championship?
I could tell you, I got a DM from him, I believe it was last week, and he said, if I'm not in the hunt for the championship, I'm going to do everything I can to try and help the 24, but if I'm in the hunt, I'm going for it. So we may see him temporarily work with DeSpirito, but he's eyeing the championship just as much.
Can't say I blame him there.
I can't either. That's the right mentality. If you have a mathematical shot at winning this championship, you do everything you can to try to win it. As Jeremy Jeffries almost got a little bit loose, as did the car just in front of him, but everybody holds on to it.
And Rod Weston going to lead that high line. He, for a moment, was clear for the top position with help from Chuck McClure, but now Jeffrey Elliott pulls ahead on that inside line. Talking about that orange 01 of Jeremy Jeffries, you talk about a driver that's motivated here tonight. Not only is he in the hunt for the Challenger Championship, but he is the only driver in the top 8 in the standings that still has a 0 in the win column. You can bet he does not want to end season 68 winless. He wants to end it with a checkered flag here tonight.
That's one of the biggest surprises of this season. Jeremy Jeffries winless, and I'm pretty sure the car he's side by side with right there on the outside is winless too. Our 2-time defending champion, Chuck McClure. If he'd have told me he'd have been winless heading into the season finale, I would have had a hard time believing that.
If you told me that he was not even going to be mathematically eligible for the championship at the end of the season, I would have called you crazy. Certainly we thought that when the new season began that he was going to have a shot at a three-peat, but the playoffs, the chase have not been kind to him. 11th in the point coming into tonight, 67 points back, mathematically out of the championship picture. So he'll just look to end out the season as strong as he can and maybe try and win 3 championships in 4 seasons next year.
I think it just goes to show you how hard it is to win in this series, though. Every driver we talk about all the time, they savor what it's like to win in this series because wins come they don't come very often. They come very few and far between. So it just goes to show you that going back to back is probably one of the rarest accomplishments, honestly, you'll see in a series like this. So obviously credit to Chuck McClure where it's due. But yeah, to your point, pretty surprising he's not even in the thick of this title hunt.
Oh, Robert Spring getting very
Four
high
wide.
right there, causing a 4-wide situation. Oh, gets into the wall. Man,
I think right now he just wants to get to the back of the pack. He's hoping the field gets by him real quickly.
I never thought I'd use this term when describing racing at Talladega. I only thought this was a dirt track term, but it looks like he jumped the cushion right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Was a moving chicane on the outside there for a little bit, as well as Grant Wesley really got up into Rod Weston there.
Contact there between the 7 of Cy Jones and the 8 of Glenn Harris. Able to keep things together right there. And already been several close calls, and we're not even 10 laps into this thing.
And look who was right in the vicinity of that contact, too. That bright blue number 24 of Joe DeSpirito. So I'll bet his heart maybe skipped a beat momentarily there. It's interesting what you mentioned earlier, Jack, about, drivers, how important it is for them to find victory lane, and when they do it multiple times in the season, how impressive it is with how difficult it is to win on a Thursday night. The consistency as well is an incredible feat. I mean, I remember back a few seasons ago when we marveled at Brian Schilling being able to finish up inside of the top 10 in every single regular season race. That's been a big part. The stage points have obviously been a big part too, but the consistency that Joe DeSpirito has been able to find every single week, even in nights that it looks like he may finish well outside of the top 20, he's able to work fortunes to his benefit and be able to sneak out at top 10.
Yeah, it's definitely a testament to the hard work that these drivers put in. And it just goes to show, don't give up on a race just because it feels like you're out of it. Maybe you sustained a little bit of damage in a crash or something like that. Just don't give up. You never know what could happen in front of you. Some drivers could end up finding themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. Caution could come out that you managed to avoid. Whatever happens, it could be good enough for you to get back in, or salvage, rather, I suppose, a good finish out of the race that you're currently in. So don't give up just because things are going wrong early.
How about that move by Chuck McClure? He pushed Dennis McCarthy out in front. As soon as he and Jeremy Jeffries got clear, he kind of shot the middle. And he's going to, at least by half a car length, be out in front with the race lead off of 4.
Coming to complete lap number 10, and as we mentioned throughout the chase, all of the championship, all the drivers in the chase, they volunteer to start in the very back of the field, depending on the qualifying draw. So these guys started back there, guys like McClure and Jeffries, and now they're running first and second as we complete lap number 10. Didn't take them long to get to the front at all.
Yeah, you look at the list of drivers that fall short of that 58-point interval to the points leader, Joe DeSpirito, Chuck McClure on that list, Tim Knopfsker, 2 victories on the season, Denny Carroll, a former winner, Michael Norman, Josh Metallic, Greg Palmer. They kind of here tonight have nothing to lose and everything to gain. They can race with the bring home the trophy or the steering wheel mentality, and I feel like with the moves we're seeing Chuck McClure make, being able to carve his way up here to the front, it's kind of proving that those drivers might be more dangerous now than they have been in the first 14 races of the season.
And when you have nothing to lose, yeah, that definitely makes a lot of people dangerous out there. They don't have to worry about points. They just want to go out there and get another victory before the season ends.
You mentioned all those playoff drivers that started at the rear of the field. We now have 3, potentially 4, maybe even 5 here, dependent on who crosses the stripe where this next time by. McClure and Jeffries on the inside line there. 3rd and 4th car on the outside line, Rodney Sullins and last week's winner, Ken Roberts. And then on the inside line, I believe it's the 6th car in line, you've got Grant Wesley trying to make his way up into the top 10. He's got Sandoval alongside of him, so Ulysses has made forward progress. I still see DeSpirito further back. According to scoring right now, Sandoval is in the 12th position, and DeSpirito's back in 30th. That's 18 positions.
That's
right
it.
there.
That's
They'd
the
be
deficit
tied
right
up
there.
right now.
That's the magic number. Keep up this pace if you're Ulysses. I mean, obviously, there's still plenty of time left in the race, so that's certain to change.
Whoa,
Oh, boy.
Elliott. Jeffrey Elliott, I think him and Robert Breedlove may have gotten together right there. That was a nice save, but we have trouble in the back.
That's Bobby Farrell, I believe, the STP Ford. And that will bring out the caution.
May have kept it off the wall right there. Good save by Bobby Farrell, but the caution does come out, as you mentioned.
One would certainly have to think that this might have been the aftermath of what we saw further up in the field with Jeffrey Elliott, Robert Breedlove, Grant Wesley just accordioning its way back through the field.
Tell you what, all the close calls we've had early on so far in this race, we had a 4-wide situation. The fact that the caution comes out for a single car spin is remarkable. Oh, looks like the 29 car blinked for a split second, came back and made contact with Farrell. And yes, he did keep it off the wall, so nice job there by the 92.
Great save, no contact with anything else.
The dreaded blink scenario. That's kind of one of those
Let's
things.
Go up here and
take
a look at this initial contact here between the 931 and the 56. Incredible save by Elliott there.
Yeah, they all just started like getting right on each other's bumpers on the entry to the corner, and maybe a momentary lift there by Jeffrey Elliott as he was almost into the back bumper of Donnie Garrett, and it just kind of sends it back to Breedlove, back to Grant Wesley. Maybe fortunate that there was about half a car length of space from Wesley back to Graham McDonald. Otherwise, they might not have saved it. Timing of this yellow interesting, as we were just a little past halfway through a fuel run. Everybody will undoubtedly be on pit road, but I have to wonder, do we see anybody roll the dice to get a bonus point? Like Rod Weston and Sean Turner are going to stay out. I was wondering about Sandoval or Joe DeSpirito, maybe, or even Jeremy Jeffries. None of those drivers have led a lap yet. I wondered if the risk of giving up the track position to get that bonus point with no guarantee that you're going to get to the front of the field at any other point of this race, if they'd be willing to take that gamble. Doesn't look like that's the case here, at least for this first caution.
I'm surprised that DeSpirito didn't. He was already toward the back of the pack anyway. Not much to lose there. Could have stayed out, gotten the bonus point, but decided to come down pit road and get tires and fuel and, I guess wait for later on in the race to get a bonus point if he's able to.
Definitely has that playing it safe approach early on, too. Doesn't really want to take the risk just yet, knowing that there's still plenty of time left in it, so anything could happen at any given time. But again, I still, as you said, feel like it might have been worth that risk, because that bonus point, this championship fight, the way it's going, it could ultimately be that one bonus point that decides this thing.
One thing that maybe made his mind up for him, I'm pretty sure Rod Weston was running ahead of Joe DeSpirito at the time the caution came out. With him staying out, DeSpirito would not have inherited the lead, so maybe that's what drew him to pit road.
Before the race here today, Michael Norman sent me a video. You guys got Talladega coming up. He made a commercial for it. You want to watch it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, he used I think he used some artificial intelligence and stuff to put it together, but it's still pretty cool because he does have replay footage from the game in there also, so it's pretty neat. We're going to play. It's about a minute. We'll get to that right about now.
Engine coughs beneath the grandstand. Cold dirt kicks across the track. At Talladega, gates swing open, and the dead come roaring back! Turn 4 keeps a rotten grin. Ghost cars line the pit road wall, waiting for the green to spin. A black flag snaps above the booth. No living hand is on the wheel. The starter drops the midnight cloth, and every phantom hits the steel. Hear that thunder underground. Feel
Well, there it is. Flat Out Racing Network will be covering Talladega this year. Of course, Talladega this year. 17th of October, apparently. So there you go. Thank you, Michael Norman.
That should be a good one. Looking forward to calling that event. FRN going to be covering that special event. You'll probably see a lot of the drivers that are on track here in this race participating in that one as well. Obviously, all these drivers well versed with Talladega, so a Halloween version of Talladega shouldn't be any trouble for them.
Yeah, you and Jack are going to be calling that here on FRN. I will actually be in that race, so kind of looking forward to it and kind of nervous at the same time. So
should we put a bet on you?
A bet on what?
On you winning the race.
I don't recommend it.
No,
anything can happen in super speedway racing. So
that's true. Feels financially irresponsible, but you never know.
Well, here we go. Green flag back in the air. 50 laps to go.
I would love to race in that race, but you know me in October. You don't see me at all. Me and the wife and I are out doing all kinds of crazy Halloween stuff. So I'll be in a haunted house somewhere.
Looks like Jeremy Jeffries didn't get going on that restart. There's a huge gap between him and the 024 of Dennis McCarthy.
He's already up to fourth gear. I think he may have lost third. And that's going to be tough on restarts.
Look at Ulysses Sandoval. Nice run there, top to bottom. He's going to lead that inside line. He wants to get up there and lead a lap.
Yeah, I think Ulysses right now, he's in the must-win mentality, and honestly can't really blame him because as we talk about how difficult it is to make up ground in a super speedway series, if he wins this race, that is 3 extra bonus points towards his total, and could be very valuable 3 bonus points, and maybe even find himself 1 point ahead of Joe DeSpirito for the championship when all is said and done.
It goes back to what I was saying right before the race, too. You know, you can't really control what happens with Joe DeSpirito. You can only really worry about what happens to yourself, so you might as well go all out and try to do what he's doing right now. It's try to go for the race lead. Try to stay out near the front as much as he can.
Even if guys aren't able to win a championship, you never stop racing here because how many positions at the end of a season are locked into the first, I think it's 3 races of the next season you're guaranteed to start?
Yeah, the top 30.
Top 30, yep.
30, yeah. So literally, if you get into a overflow situation when you got to have knockout qualifying, you won't have to worry about it. So you're always racing for something.
And that outside line is where you want to be right now, though. You see, it's like Sandoval losing some spots on the bottom. He's trying to fight his way back up there, getting a good push from Jeffries. He's got Donnie Garrett, Bernie Mobbs, and others right behind him there.
And here's the thing, too, going back to your point, Blaine, obviously we see these drivers week in, week out, not only here racing on Thursday nights, but a number of them race over in ASR and a bunch of other series that run super speedway leagues. And so, they obviously have teammates that they want to work with. They have non-teammates that they might want to work with, that they feel comfortable with. But I feel like even a victory this season, 2 victories this season, those that have been able to do it, you even then continue to raise your stock of if it's the closing stages of a race and somebody looks in the rearview mirror, they say, hey, this guy has had a solid season. I want him to be the one that's pushing me. I want to work with him. Even with the familiarity that all these drivers have, I think there still is a continuation of trying to raise your stock in terms of being somebody that other drivers want to work with during the course of a race, whether it's the beginning, middle, or at this point, the end of the season.
Even Tarnation TV co-host out there, number 19, Rod Weston, never was really a fan of super speedway stuff. He's a flat track, short track guy. But he came out here season 68 and started running with these guys. And this is a different crop of driver, too. Like, these races are phenomenal. Like, look at this. We've had 1 yellow, and it was just a 1-car spin. This is a full house tonight. But like you were saying, he found it tough in the first half dozen races. Nobody wanted to go with him, no matter where he went. And he understands that. He's new to this league, to this track. I'm like, oh, well, what about this Weston guy? But then he found out halfway through the season, they realized, oh, Rod knows what he's doing. Now he's got people pushing him, people following him, people willing to go with him, people willing to work with him. So it's like, yeah, you do have to kind of get out there and run and show these guys you can hang. And then once they know you can hang, they're gonna go with you.
When it comes to being on the racetrack, respect isn't given; it is earned. So if you're new to a series and nobody's all that familiar with you, I mean, you got to earn everybody's respect. You got to go out there, show you know what you're doing. Don't do anything stupid, and just be solid. And eventually, people will see that, and then they'll begin to feel comfortable around you and will want to work with you.
The thing of it is, too, doesn't matter whether you've been super speedway racing for 10 weeks or 10 years.
Yeah.
These drivers, no matter what the experiences they have of super speedway racing, they are constantly learning, because in the world of super speedway racing, no race scenario is ever the same from one given week to another. We got close, Kyle, a couple of weeks ago of maybe replicating something, but every single time you think you've got these type of races figured out, they will find a way to surprise you.
You guys are giving me some pretty sage advice right now, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm also trying to get into super speedway racing really for the first time, so I'm looking at me taking that in mind here. Yeah, I think that's kind of the big thing. Never be afraid to stop learning. You never know what's going to happen, how things are going to play out over the course of a race, and so you just want to be about as prepared for any scenarios you can possibly be.
That inside line was not going anywhere for Ulysses Sandoval. He was able to find a gap up between Donnie Garrett and Bob Seminara. He's drifted back to the 11th position, and that's important for him because we just crossed the stripe and hit 10 laps to go until halfway. Top 10 in the running order, I should say. When we cross the line to complete lap 33, will receive stage points, and we know that obviously we're talking about this last week. That has to be at the top priority of Ulysses Sandoval's list, because that's one of the big ways that he could eat into that 18-point gap, take a big chunk out of it.
Yeah, go up here and try to win this stage. That's 10 points off the deficit right there. He's got some work to do, but certainly not out of the realm of possibilities right now.
Yeah, doing everything he can right now, and I see Joe DeSpirito a little bit further behind them, and unless Joe really finds some momentum in these next couple of laps, I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to be in a position to contend for stage points. So I think that's another big thing if you're Ulysses. Got to really push forward for it, because if you can work your way into the top 10, if you don't win the stage, but you do score stage points, and the 24 does not, that's some more points going in your direction.
DeSpirito coming into this week has accumulated the most stage points of any driver at halfway. 84 stage points, 2 stage wins in that span as well. Ulysses Sandoval has accumulated only 40 stage points, yet he sits 4th on the all-time stage points accumulated list. It's quite a gap when you look at DeSpirito with 84, Seminara with 75, and then you go down to Grant Wesley, Ulysses Sandoval. They're down in the 40s in 3rd and 4th.
I like how they added that in, because it really does. And you look at how tight the actual point standings are with that in play. That's a huge factor.
Something else that Joe DeSpirito has a little bit of an advantage, and I'm really surprised none of us has really said this, but one thing that he has over Sandoval is experience. Joe DeSpirito is a former champion of this series. He knows what it takes to get it done. I don't know what the points format was at that time, but
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that the last time Joe DeSpirito won a championship, it was the 5-race chase where they had 3 rounds, 2 races the first round, 2 races the second round, and then 1 race for the finale. And to your point, Jack, he is up there with Metallic, Michael Norman, trying to make forward progress. We're sitting about, 5.5 laps away from halfway, and DeSpirito's making the charge. Seminara on pit road.
Could we be seeing pit stops already, or is that maybe just an unscheduled pit stop from Seminara?
Either this is unscheduled or this is the only thing I can think of, and this might be thinking way outside the box, is he's thinking a caution's going to come out. He's thinking he can pit, caution's going to come out before halfway, everybody will pit, and then he's going to be the race leader at the halfway point. He came into this race 25 points back. So he might be relying on a miracle here. And it's worked in his favor before. It was a couple of weeks ago, we saw him stay out to get stage points, came down pit road, caution came out, and he stayed on the lead lap. So he might be looking for a little bit of luck from the racing gods again here tonight.
Boy, this is a wonderful time to be having connection problems here, but saw Bob Seminara come to pit road like you just said there, so really surprised by that.
And he's free and clear. No black flags or nothing. Clean pit stop.
So now he's planning on a caution to come out here, and I think he's going to have the yellow come out this lap. Because if it doesn't, I think that if a caution came out from hitting the start-finish line onward, all of your playoff drivers, they would probably still stay out to get the stage points and pit at the 1 to green.
And look at the first side-by-side battle we see back here.
There they are.
And this is for 11th.
Ulysses has Michael Norman right behind him. Not a big surprise to see those two working together. Those two are good friends.
Turn to pits as well.
Michael Norman and Joe DeSpirito nearly made contact just a few moments ago.
Went back green on lap 16's completion, so these drivers should be able to go another 7 laps or so. I kind of understand the strategy there for Seminara, though it's not looking like it's going to work out as he's going to get put a lap down. But anybody else that pits prior to the halfway point, be a bit of a head scratcher.
How would that affect Seminara long run? Right to the end of the race, he would be off sequence the whole time. So, I mean, it could still work in his favor, maybe? There's only a couple more pit stops left, though, at the most.
That's a good question. I think he came to pit road at lap 26, so he should be able to make it on one more pit stop. It should be able to split it right in half, 20 laps, 20 laps. I think everybody else is also going to have to make one more pit stop, regardless of if they stretch it as far as they possibly can here. But the problem for him is he's got himself trapped a lap down.
Right.
So he now needs this thing to go green all the rest of the way, and I think Chuck McClure, either he's pitting or he got shuffled out, one or the other, because he just went from the lead back to about the 6th position.
I think he just got shuffled out right there because he made no indication to come into pit road. Guys getting ready for that, for the pay win to open up here in terms of the stage points. Whoa, Grant Wesley. I don't know if he made contact with the Tim Nosker or not, but that was a nice save by him. Probably didn't even lift. He's going to carry that momentum right there on the inside, try to get to the front, try to win this stage.
Yeah, he got it. Been pointed down to that inside line, and you say he kept his foot in it, tried to keep that momentum, just weren't able to carry it off of turn number 2. Sandoval continuing to creep up there. He's unofficially around the 9th position, and DeSpirito has faded back. I don't think DeSpirito is going to finish in the top 10, so all the pressure now is on Ulysses Sandoval to try and nickel and dime positions here in this final 2.66 miles prior to halfway.
Ulysses has nobody behind him right there. He had Michael Norman right behind him. Now Norman goes back to the outside, trying to get up to the 96.
I almost wonder if Michael was kind of debating whether or not he wanted to give the 24 a tow. But then in the process, he stopped pushing Ulysses, so he was a little bit indecisive there, I think, in that moment.
Comes McCarthy on the outside of Roberts for second.
Look at Ulysses all over the back bumper of Jeremy Jeffries.
Right now, Ulysses would be in line for either just 1 or 2 stage points. Going to finish maybe 9th or 10th, depending on the momentum of this outside line coming to the stripe. He will just barely get ahead of Chuck McClure. He will finish 9th. Rodney Sullins will take the stage win. So 2 points to Ulysses Sandoval, 2 more than Joe DeSpirito was able to get. He wasn't anywhere close to the top 10. I think he was 15th when they crossed the line.
Trying to chip away at it right there. The deficit falls to 16 points. Not sure what the deficit would be as they run, but just kind of looking at what it was before the race started.
How they cross the start-finish line, adding on those 2 points, we'd be talking about 11 points to separation.
And here they go for pit stops.
Sullins gets the stage win, makes the dive to pit road, a bunch of others down there with him. And it looks like they're all going to make it at least to the entry safely. Oh, did Wesley miss his stall? Nope, he had a stall a little bit further up there. Just was maneuvering his way around traffic.
I'm curious.
You look at Sandoval. Do you stay out the extra lap to get a bonus point there?
Yeah, that's for it. I was wondering the same thing. Him and DeSpirito both still on the racetrack right now.
The only conundrum for those two is that what else does everybody else have in mind? Because they don't want to stay out completely by themselves, because then you're pitting on your own and
he's coming.
You're not going to have any
Sandoval's
help on the
pitting, so is DeSpirito.
Oh,
Michael Norman.
McCarthy's around up at the front of this pack, too.
Ulysses got through two possible accidents there.
DeSpirito was also caught up in that almost as well. It was awfully close.
Wow.
It's one of the things about super speedway racing. A race victor, in this case a championship, can be won or lost based off the mistakes of others. You're relying on everybody else to keep it pointing in the right direction, keep the fenders on as well.
And just think, on an extra wide pit road.
Yes, exactly.
Look at how wide that is. Still not enough. Thanks, John. It has come in handy, though. I love that he made that an extra lane wide.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
A little bit of contact there between Ulysses and the 82 of Craig Hackley. No harm, no foul there, but just a close call once again.
Look at what Rodney Sullins and company have to get through. Cars on the bottom, cars up on the top. They shoot right up the gut. I think Rodney is going to cycle back out to the race lead once all is said and done. So Manera did get himself back on the lead lap with this cycle of pit stops, but again, he's about 4 to 5 laps shorter on fuel than everybody else. So he needs a caution between now and that imminent pit stop to be able to maybe draw everyone down pit road with him, get back on the same fuel strategy as the race leaders.
Both Ulysses Sandoval and Joe DeSpirito right here in this second pack. There's one car separating them, the 31 of Bernie Mobbs. But DeSpirito doing exactly what he needs to do. He's keeping Ulysses right in the sight right there, not letting him gain too many points on him for the time being.
And I think that's the strategy now, right? If you're the 24, just keep the 096 close. Keep him within sight.
One thing that he's probably not thinking about right now, too, because it might be secondary in his mind, but he might also be thinking about it in the back of his mind, rather, as the bracket challenge. Jeremy Jeffries right on his back bumper. That's for position in terms of winning the bracket challenge. So, Jeremy with...
And what do we say? We have drivers racing against each other for points or for a championship. They always seem to find... Well, here we are.
Exactly.
Last week, Jeremy Jeffries was able to finish ahead of Joe DeSpirito to bring it into this rubber match. Had Joe finished ahead of Jeremy last week, he would have been coming into tonight already claiming that bracket challenge. Jeremy keeping the fight to him. Currently, those two are running 11th and 12th. Sandoval just up ahead in the 9th position right now. With where he is scored, Sandoval would have gained 4 points on Joe DeSpirito, including the 2 points he just got at the halfway point stage. Gonna need another 15 points to take the title from DeSpirito, 14 points to tie him, and They did put out on the forum, I'm going to have to go back and double check what it is. They did put out a tiebreaker criteria. I think they had about a 3 or 4 step process should it go into multiple tiebreakers as to how to determine a champion. I'll have to double check and see if I can find exactly what that criteria was.
If all of those tiebreakers are exhausted and they still don't have a champion, I hope that the final solution is they have like a one-on-one 10-lap shootout or something like that.
Not sure how that works in a super speedway, though. Nobody's got draft.
Nobody's going to push each other.
Just go with the complete
get a hold
opposite.
of Terry
Go to, like,
Bombard. Have them take part in one of the Amish Survivor Series races.
Exactly.
Do a pole race or something.
Pole race, win at all costs race, something like that. Whoever wrecks the most Larrys wins.
only gear you're allowed to use is reverse.
Oh, no.
Hey, I've seen both of them. Joe DeSpirito's known for doing reverse burnouts, and I've seen Ulysses Sandoval driving backwards too, so they might actually take up that challenge.
Demolition Derby at Fairgrounds somewhere. Realistic damage. Infield at Indianapolis or something. Just keep smashing. Who says it even has to be in this game? You
Take things to Mario Kart.
Take it, yeah, Mario Kart, Pac-Man, Double Dragon. I think you can do all kinds of stuff.
Well, all these
Mahjong
drivers,
Safari.
they still... Yeah. Well, all these drivers, they still have to make one more pit stop. For Bob Seminara, his final pit stop is going to be coming up here in the next 5 to 6 laps. Everybody else, they should be able to make it roughly to around lap 52. We could see drivers pit as early as the next 3 to 4 laps. They should be able to make it on fuel from that point on, but I don't think we'd necessarily see anybody short pit, at least for the front runners here, because the earlier you pit, the longer you stay in your pit stall to put fuel in the car. The longer you make this run, the less fuel you'll have to take on to get to the conclusion.
Only run 3 caution laps tonight with 1 flag. I'm showing 13 lead changes too on my stats stream.
And we've got all 33 drivers that took the green flag still running. We do have a couple of them off the lead lap. We saw them have pit road troubles on entry. Brian Rawson and Michael Norman right now 32nd and 33rd. They'd be the drivers in line for the lucky dog if we were to see a second caution flag wave.
Looks like both of them are still upbeat. They're in this lead pack right here. You see the 6th right behind the 24. And the 30's not too far behind them. And look at Ulysses making a move here. Jeffries on the inside with him.
Don't have a whole lot of numbers. They'll add Josh Metallic to their ranks here, but it's only the 4 of them on that inside line. They're going to need drivers up there in that middle groove to see them moving forward and pull down in front of them as Denny Carroll just did. Garrett's going to do the same. If they can get more numbers, that inside line will move forward.
They gained a lot of numbers real quick down there. A couple laps ago, it was only 2 of them.
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that move to the inside by Ulysses Sandoval when there were really only 2 cars down there prior. Jeremy Jeffries and Jeffrey Elliott, but I'm almost wondering if for Ulysses Sandoval, the strategy is basically just do the opposite of what the 24 is doing, because if you ride just in front of him or just behind him, that's all it's going to be. You're not going to gain on him. So might as well try and do something different, see if it works out.
Oh, you talked about before the race how these drivers that are battling with one another just constantly seem to find each other on the racetrack. How about Joe DeSpirito, Ulysses Sandoval, and Jeremy Jeffries all within the same shot of each other right now?
Anybody got a blanket? We could throw it over them.
That would make things difficult.
I don't know. I think some of these guys might be able to make a lap around Talladega with their eyes shut. Muscle memory.
In a pack?
Well, maybe not in the pack.
Didn't think so.
You got Brian Rawson in the 6th there in the mix, but he is one lap
look
down
out.
in 32nd.
Bernie Mobbs got a little bit loose there, had tires on the apron, managed to hold on to it.
Tim Knopfsker making a move here for the 3rd spot.
We're starting to get racy. All 4 drivers up here at the front. Former winners this season. 6 combined victories amongst them. Chuck McClure right there, the outgoing champion, still looking for his first of the season. He's got a front row seat of this side-by-side 2 rows deep.
See, Joe DeSpirito went from the outside. Now he's on the inside, actually ahead now.
And Ken Roberts is going to go to the lead.
Big push from Spring there. Shot that line forward on the top. Wow.
Ken picked up the victory last week, joining Knopfsker and Rodney Sullins as a multi-time winner. And all 3 of those drivers up here at the front trying to end out the season with a 3rd checkered flag. Ken trying to be the first driver this season to win back-to-back. Bob Seminara just now leaving pit road. That was his final scheduled pit stop. He should have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way, provided he's able to get back into this pack pretty quickly, which they are reeling him in down the back straightaway. Everybody else, they'll be on pit road within the next 5 to 7 laps. And we've already seen some drivers have some issues on pit road, which was in the vicinity of Sandoval and Joe DeSpirito. They dodged one bullet, now they're going to have to dodge another. Got Al Sullins in our chat over on the FRN side. Got to be pretty happy with what he's seeing. That Intimidator Black, number 38, out in front, showing the way. Close to taking the bonus point for most laps led. Chuck McClure has led 17 laps so far in this race. Rodney, that last time by, completed his 15th circuit out in front. Sean Turner going a lap down. He just completed a pit stop not too long ago, and here we go.
Pit stops.
Windows
Spirits
open, but this is a little too soon. This is a little sooner than I expected drivers to pit.
Spirito is with them, as you said, Kyle. I don't see Ulysses down pit road here.
Sandoval stayed out that time. I was just about to say, the way it's looking right now, I think it's going to come down to these pit stops right here. That's going to be the deciding factor.
Pretty good group that just came down pit road. About maybe 8 drivers there. Saw Josh Metallic a part of that group as well. Mike Mangialardi. We'll see if they all leave together. Organization off of pit road going to be super important for the 24.
And everybody stays out.
Yeah, we're still going to be another 4 laps away from when these drivers are absolutely going to have to make the dive to pit road. So these guys are all planning to run long. Like Donnie Garrett had a slow pit stop. He did not come back out with the group that he pitted with. And DeSpirito might lose touch with the drivers that he pitted with. It's a long ways up to Knopfsker and Denny Carroll. So this is not an optimal outlap for the 24 car.
Only scored 26th. I believe Ulysses is inside the top 10 right now, so this is definitely a setback if you're DeSpirito.
Wow. I don't even know what to say,
else?
just wow.
Yeah, I'm not
just
sure.
just
I'm not-
like DeSpirito, having issues there a little bit, and with Sandoval, could be pretty close. And this is the final race, so it's literally going to come down to the final lap.
It's as Kyle said, it's going to be this final pit stop for Sandoval, because right now, as things are running, I do not see Joe DeSpirito cycling around in the lead pack. He's going to pick up a couple of drivers here, and Robert Breedlove and Mike Mangialardi, but the group of 4 up ahead of them, Knopfsker, Metallic, McClure and Carroll, those are drivers that I think will find themselves as part of the lead pack once the pit stop cycle is completed. I think Joe DeSpirito will not be up in that conversation. So now the pressure is going to be on Ulysses Sandoval to make sure that he executes on pit road, comes out with a big enough pack that will be able to merge into that lead group. I'm not exactly 100% certain where DeSpirito is going to cycle around to in position-wise. But right now, that pit stop was less than stellar for driver 24.
In fact, DeSpirito is in danger of going a lap down right here. You see him right in front of the race leaders.
And we saw them when they were coming to pit road. Remember, all the playoff drivers start at the rear of the field in all of these chase races, which means that they have pit stalls right near the entrance of pit lane. They got to get those things woed down a lot quicker. And DeSpirito had the 34th pit stall of the 36 drivers. So he was right there at the entrance. You got to wonder if maybe a little bit slower on entry or maybe not able to get the launch on exit, leaving his pit stall, might have played a factor into him losing touch with those other 4 drivers.
Bernie Mobbs all by himself on pit road.
Now he's going to have company this lap. I think we got a bunch of hands out the window. And I think we're going to see the race leaders on pit road here for their final stop. Ulysses Sandoval going to have to keep a close watch on him here because this might be the money stop for the championship. No, he stays out an extra lap.
Oh, wow.
Hot pit by those guys up front. Holy. They're all clean, though.
I almost wonder if Ulysses maybe is trying to make sure that he is a whole lap now ahead of Joe DeSpirito because he's about to pass him on the racetrack.
Quite a gamble here by Sandoval, but the good news is he's got a number of other drivers that stayed out with him. He should be, if they all pit together, he's going to be coming down pit road with
about every week. It seems like this is an ideal number of cars to come down to pit road with right here. Not a big pack, not terribly small. Should everything goes according to, should be out, have plenty of people to draft with. Don't have to worry about any issues entering pit road, hopefully.
Oh, be careful on pit road.
Almost.
Locked him up. Car got a little tail happy, but I think he got it woed down. It's going to be a pack of 5 here with Sandoval, Norman, Jeffries, Jeffrey Elliott, and Craig Hagley. Now, can Ulysses leave with all of those drivers is going to be the question. DeSpirito has found a pack of 4 with Breedlove, Sean Turner, Bob Seminara.
Dual only for Ulysses.
This is going to be close.
Godfrey, McCarthy, and Ellis are headed down.
Got a car that's slow on the apron there at the front straightaway. I think that might have been Rod Weston, but I'm not sure.
Black flag Sullins, black flag Roberts, black flag Rossen.
Wow.
So Roberts and Sullins both got black flags.
And they were going to cycle out to 2nd and 3rd.
Oh, man.
Oh, look at this.
The Sullins, who is, I believe he said, has led the most laps so far. 8.
Both of those guys at 38 and the 55. Greg Palmer also has a black, 22. Dennis McCarthy, black flag. Wow.
Ulysses Sandoval. Guys, I'm not sure that Ulysses took on 2 cans of fuel.
He didn't take tires.
I think he, Norman, and Elliott might have gone with a can and a half. And that gained them track position out to what will now be, I think, 1st and 2nd for Elliott and Sandoval. Norman's the lap car. Ulysses is going to be in the lead group. He might find himself a little short on fuel, but boy, it's going to be interesting when they cross the line this time to see where Sandoval is running in relation to Joe DeSpirito.
Again, staying out
Ulysses,
that one extra lap.
Ulysses took a can.
Just a can?
Just one can.
Yeah. And he said he's going to be on the edge.
You should be able to make it on a can from right here, so he's going to find himself about 2 laps short. That's why he dropped
we've
back. He's
seen-
going to try and save here.
I was gonna say he's gonna maybe try and save it, maybe try and stretch it a little bit longer.
I mean,
Wow.
we've talked about this before. Ulysses is never afraid to gamble and fuel, so
Oh,
and really, this is the time to do it.
look at the way he's bumping doors
Goodness.
with Grant. This is crazy.
Sullins and Roberts both serving their black flags together.
As McCarthy was also hit with a black flag for speeding as
Yeah.
well.
What I'm curious about, all those skid marks that we're seeing, I think it's around turn 4, was that left over from something that happened in practice, or
I
was
don't
there
think
another?
so. I think that might have been something that happened with Rod Weston that didn't bring out the caution. Saw him slow there on the bottom of the racetrack through the tri-oval. There must have not been any oncoming traffic. He might have been trying to get to pit road. There might have been contact, or he locked it up or something, but apparently it was a single car incident with no other cars in the vicinity. Race officials kept it green.
I noticed those on the track right when you said that Weston was slow. I was almost wondering if something had happened there. Look at this, Grant Wesley in P1. How many times have we said that this week?
Especially after a cycle of pit stops. Looking for what would be, I believe, an unprecedented 4th straight victory in 4 straight nights in the weekly finales here for RTG in season 68.
I hope I'm not jinxing anything here, but look at the car fifth in that straight line right there. Where
Yeah.
did Cody come from?
It's just
Cody's
shaping
had-
up to be a wild one.
He's
That's
had a really
familiar-
strong second half of the season,
It's
too. He
familiar
came into
phrase.
tonight's race 21st in points. I think he missed a start last week due to having no internet connection, but for a time, he was, I think, the second highest driver in the points that wasn't a playoff contender.
Familiar phrases
saw-
from week to week are like, where did Cody Lamas come from, or where did Alex Moe come from? Those guys are
Yep.
very good at hiding until the
Something about
last
the 48
20 laps.
cars, I guess.
Yes, exactly. I never even thought of that. They
And
share the
you
same
asked,
number.
what are the questions? One of the questions you asked before the race started, could we potentially have a first-time overall winner? Well, we have a candidate right there, Cody Lamas, in the 5th position to possibly make that happen.
6 laps to go. What do you think about Ulysses' fuel tank?
I don't know. I honestly
It's about a
don't
lap
know.
and a half. About a lap and a half fuel. A lap and a half short.
He's
Right.
probably trying to save it right now.
Right now, 2 things are working against Ulysses Sandoval. The first is the amount of fuel that he's got in the gas tank. The second thing is all those names that we listed off that got black flags, Rodney Sullins, Ken Roberts, Dennis McCarthy, they all had to come to pit road. By doing so, Joe DeSpirito picked up spots on the racetrack. Right now, Ulysses, yes, he's up in this lead pack. He's currently in the 8th position. Joe DeSpirito is not in the lead group, but nearly 8 seconds back, but he's been able to move his way up into a 15th place running spot. That is still enough. He had enough of a buffer where that would still get him the championship here tonight.
Basically, Ulysses
Well-
needs to gain. These last 5 laps, he needs to really start doing what he can. He almost got knocked out of line there, but he's got to start doing everything he can to work his way back up to the front. But he's only going to have to make the move with, what, 2 laps
Oh,
left?
boy.
Oof. Side
Side
Jones really got
Jones.
put in the wall.
Well, here's the situation for Ulysses Sandoval. He gained 2 points at the halfway stage. That put him to minus 16. In order to win the championship, he needs to finish 17 positions ahead of Joe DeSpirito. He is in a must-win situation right now with where Joe's running. He can't win the
this is-
championship with second.
Wow.
Well, I mean, this gamble was totally worth it, if you ask me, though. I mean, what lose in this situation? It's all or nothing.
How many times have I said wow tonight when in regards to Ulysses trying to get the Spirito? It is that close. It's wild.
We need a Blaine Donlin wow counter.
Yeah. I don't think I'll beat Owen Wilson, but I might be close.
I
Wow.
almost wonder if Ulysses, the way he's running in the front pack, I almost wonder if he was trying to maybe get with Michael Norman, because we know those two like to work together, and maybe that's going to be the strategy. They kind of tag team the rest of this lead pack until they work their way back up to the front. I mean, you're only going to have a few laps to do it if you're going to save until the very end.
Those two have been with each other this whole race, it seems like. And like you said, not a big surprise there. Those two are really good friends, so I totally expected to see those two working together.
The only problem is he's the trailing car, so if he and Michael make the move, there's going to be drivers in front of them that are going to move up and stall out that momentum, and we know everybody can make it on fuel too. It's not a question of Ulysses being able to make it when everybody else can't, so I don't know. Despirito's in a really safe spot right now, back in a pack of about 5. All he needs to do is hold on to his position, and if Ulysses does not win this race, Despirito's going to take this championship. It will not be by much. It's going to be down to single digits, I do believe.
They're going for it.
Here comes Wesley to the inside.
And we're at the point now where the next flag's going to end the race. So
Cody
it's
gonna
go
get-
time for everybody.
Look at
Lamas
Cody.
now getting in front of Wesley to lead that inside line.
Less than 3 laps to go. Who gets the final checkered flag of the season? Nofsker trying to win his 3rd race. Whoa, look out! Cy Jones up and into the wall. Saves it.
Holy moly.
Him and
Clearly
Ulysses
made
got together.
contact with Ulysses.
Here comes McClure now to the inside.
Got help from Denny Carroll. Nofsker thought about going down to block. Stays up in that middle line with Josh Metallic. Chuck's pitting.
Wow.
Chuck couldn't make it.
Could he not make it? Wow.
Oh, wow, okay. So he tried a fuel gamble and had to pit.
Certainly
gas.
looks like it. 2 laps to go here. Maybe it is a big question mark on a bunch of these drivers, whether they can make it on fuel or not. I thought all these guys were safe.
Denny Carroll going to inch ahead here, getting a good push there from Cody Lamas and Grant Wesley. They're coming to get the white flag here, guys.
They were
It's go
thinking
time
about
for Ulysses.
They were thinking about 3 wide back there with Jeffrey Elliott and Billy Elliser. Thought better of it. Just a couple more corners, that long tri-oval to traverse to take the white flag here tonight in the season finale at Talladega.
Crivello just retired.
You're going to get
Oh,
the white.
dead even coming to the line. Carroll inching ahead.
Look
Here
at
we
this
go.
push.
What's
Where
it
did
worth?
Denny come from?
That's another guy that sneaks
Yeah.
up there. I mean, just... He's got the lead here. White flag. Got the Cody Lamas all over his back bumper. Can Cody get his first win in this series?
Grant Wesley was all over his back bumper. I think Ulysses is out.
I think you're right. Slow on the back straightaway and now
He's
spinning
around.
down on the apron. Yes, Ulysses Sandoval out of fuel. The gamble does not pay off,
half a
but the race
lap.
for the win is still on. Cody goes
Here we go.
up.
Comes
Denny
Lamas. He's got to run.
covers.
He's getting a
Come on,
push from
Cody.
Nofsker.
This is going to be close. We may have ourselves another photo finish to close out the season. Carroll
Push from
down
Here
behind.
they
line.
come.
Cody on
Oh,
the line.
baby,
Oh,
First
Cody
time
got it.
winner, Cody Lamas.
Wow.
how about that?
001. Unreal. Hey, where's Cody been? Well, doesn't matter. He's in victory lane now.
Victory Lane, that's where he's been.
Holy moly. Look at them.
What
They're
a
giving
way
him the
to
rub.
end this. A photo finish, a first-time winner.
That was incredible.
The driver that
was.
he beat to the line, Denny Carroll, knows what it's like to get his first win. He did so last season. This season, Cody Lamas going to edge him out for his first career win by 12 one-thousandths of a second.
Is he
Cody's doing
gonna-
what now?
Is he going to be able to form a sentence in the interview and post race? I
know.
wonder.
Not
That
sure.
is wild. Had to finish in front of all these guys. This race is
And-
pretty much flawless.
Hey,
It was flawless.
the most important thing happened this race. We got one caution.
Only one in
Oh,
a
the
finale.
flawless
One
race.
caution. We
But it was
dodged
the-
a lot of bullets. We probably might have had a couple
But it was
of
the one
others.
caution I needed, though.
There was a single car spin too. There was one car that I think it was the 19. It was Rod that had a moment by himself off of turn 4. There was no caution for it because he was by himself.
Well, 11th place is where Joe DeSpirito is going to cross the line. That's enough for him to take the championship, but he will
about the
not
bracket?
sweep the week. Jeremy Jeffries will finish 6th. So back-to-back weeks of outperforming the 24. He is the season 68 bracket challenge champ.
Wow. Still your line there, Blaine.
Spirito's doing his reverse burnouts on the back straightaway as Cody did the forward-facing burnouts on the front stretch for the race victory.
I have to say, being a lifelong Hendrick sports fan, I like seeing the 24 and 48 celebrate like this.
Right?
So,
It's fitting. Grant Wesley only a few spots short of the win, but I'm sure he's pretty satisfied with the way his week went anyway. I mean, he took 3 wins, 3 championships, and a P4. Was in the conversation late for this checkered flag, but just great moves there from Cody Lamas at the end to win it in a photo finish. That was honestly an incredible way to end the season.
Yeah, what a finale, right? Like, my goodness. We said just about everybody in the field, with the exception of those that were battling for their respective championships, had nothing to lose. It certainly looked like it there on those closing laps.
You know what I just realized? What's 24 times 2?
Well, there you go. 48.
yeah.
Yeah. Wild.
My goodness. Well, we're gonna.
Where do we be with the post race?
I'm at a loss for words, I'll be perfectly honest.
I think we're gonna go with the podium finishers. We'll go Knopfsker, Carroll. We'll get the race winner, Cody, and then we'll get the respective champions, Jeffries and Joe DeSpirito. But my goodness, I mean, we got to take a moment to catch our breath. Hopefully the drivers had a little bit of a moment to catch their breath because it's interview time. Let's see if we can dial up tonight's third place finisher, Tim Knopfsker. Hey, Tim, it's the guys up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. How you guys doing?
Wild way to end off this 68th season of the Talladega Challenge Series. You came into tonight one of only 3 multi-time winners. You were leading the field there, coming to 2 to go. Moves being made to inside and outside. We saw you for a brief moment when Denny made the move to the inside. Looked like you were going to shade down and block. Stayed up to that middle line. Did you just need the momentum to come back there down the back straightaway to get you out in front? Did you expect that inside line to hold as well as it did for you to be able to get your 3rd win of the season?
Well, I think what hurt us there is the 17 ran short on gas. He had to pit, so he couldn't really push too much. And then when he pitted, I saw the 56 back there, and then he pulled out of line. We just never could keep that momentum with some solid pushing behind Josh there. So, yeah, I knew we were in trouble. But it's all right. Congrats to Cody. Once he got up in front of me, I could have pulled out on him, and I thought, you know what, I'll just push him.
We saw this race come down really to a lot of pit strategy in the closing stages. You mentioned about Chuck being short on fuel. We saw Ulysses pull a Hail Mary strategy on fuel. And we saw you, I think, come to pit road with a pretty decent group of 8 drivers. But you guys pitted a little sooner than others. The window was open, but you kind of came down in your own group and it cycled you to the front of the field. Being a finale race, just how much more outside the box were you drivers willing to go in terms of fuel strategy?
I think I was mathematically out of it, and we decided to try an alternative strategy. Josh was on board, and Chuck, and I think when we announced we were pitting, some of the other guys said, why not? So we ended up dragging quite a few down with us. It worked out. If we hadn't had Chuck being short on gas and some, we may have been able to gap that group just because we only took what we needed. They were going to have to take a little bit more gas. So, but it was worth a shot.
A great way to close out the season with 2 trips to victory lane, a podium finish in tonight's finale. Obviously, this is the first season that we've implemented this new chase format. What are some of the takeaways now with this final checkered flag waving that you kind of look at for this season, that maybe some changes, some adjustments that you'll make for next season, so by the time we get to the finale, you're going to find yourself, if not in the conversation for the championship, maybe even defending that points lead?
Well, I'm pretty sure with the races that I had where I got wrecked out twice and blew a motor sitting in my pits, no point system was going to overcome. There's no way to overcome all that bad luck. But, it's funny you should mention that because we were having a discussion before tonight's race. I think that there may be some tweaking in our future as far as how we're going to approach the playoffs. There's good and bad. Everybody's on their merit as far as what the points are throughout the playoffs. But, and this was my fear actually for NASCAR, you have one guy that just has a stellar run in the playoffs, and the last race or the last two races could be irrelevant. Let's say a guy goes and gets 2 or 3 wins in the first few races. There's no way he's being caught. So I'd like to see a lot of excitement in that final race. So there may be some tweaking to do, but for our first run through, not to take anything away from Joe. Joe had a phenomenal season, a phenomenal playoffs. It's well deserved for sure.
Well, Tim, a great run for you here tonight. Solid podium to close out the season. 2 victories on the season. Some great momentum to build into the new season starting up in about 3 weeks' time. Obviously, enjoy the off weeks that we've got here before we go back at it again for season 69. And we're going to give the opportunity here now for some thank you sponsors and shout-outs.
Well, thank you guys. It's been a great season, and the broadcasts have been fabulous. I got to thank Josh and Rodney. It's a great group, and we complement each other. I'd like to think at least they certainly compliment me for sure. They're great partners to have. And then thank RTG, Prime, Shaq, all the guys that make this. Jeremy does so much behind the scenes. I got to thank him and congratulate him on the Bracket Series Championship. To beat Joe twice was quite a feat. So congrats to him as well.
That's Tim Nofsker, 3rd place here tonight in the season finale of season 68 of the Talladega Challenge Series. Congratulations once again on a solid outing tonight, solid season overall, and best of luck in the upcoming season 69.
All right, thank you.
Let's see if we can now get a hold of the driver that finished runner-up in the photo finish here tonight. Let's get a hold of Denny Carroll. Hey, Dennis, the guys up here in the booth, you got a copy?
I got you.
Man, I'll tell you what, so close to being the 4th multi-time winner on the season. It just came down to, it seemed, who was able to get the momentum, who was able to have the draft through the tri-oval. You made that move to the inside of Nofsker, got yourself out there and nose ahead for the top position. What little more in hindsight, maybe going back, looking at those final couple of laps, could you have done to keep the 48 at bay?
If I could figure out why the 30 dropped out of line there in the tri-oval, I think that's what did it. He was the 3rd car in the bottom line. He just pulled to the left, and I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure that's what did it.
You got your first win of Thursday nights here in the Talladega Challenge Series last season. Got your 2nd one here this season. A playoff contender in both seasons as well. But here tonight, I'm assuming that for yourself and probably a number of the playoff contenders, points were an afterthought, just trying to get that final checkered flag of the season.
Oh, yeah, I was out of the points. It was either win or bring it home, tore up or something, because I didn't have a chance in the points. I was way out of it. But it was a really good finish, and it was a great race. And those are the kind of races that are fun.
Yeah, even prior to the playoffs, where we had the random qualifying draw, we would see you kind of shuffle your way to the back, ride around for the first 15 to 20 laps, and then make your way up to the front when it counted. Obviously, here tonight being one of the playoff drivers, you started way at the back of the pack. And, we were talking about, it seems like it's been a running theme for us this season where we see you then up in the top 5, and it's like, where did that 41 come from? How are you able to put an entire race together in terms of knowing where you need to position yourself at certain points in the race so that way you're up there in the conversation late?
You just got to follow your runs, and when you can make a move, you got to make it. Can't second guess yourself. I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. And I just had a rough season this season, but thank God they ain't all rough.
Well, able to end out the season on a high note with a solid top 5 finish here this evening. Hopefully to carry some good momentum for you at the start of season 69. But congratulations on a great run here tonight at Talladega. Denny, before we let you go, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for putting this on. Thanks for RTG for letting me even race with them. And I hope to have a better season the next season I run, and maybe I can win a championship over here one of these days. And see you guys, and I'm gonna go watch it on TV and eat some yogurt.
Well, there you go. A solid run here tonight to cap off the season. Second place for Denny Carroll, and he'll look to carry this momentum into the new season starting up in about 3 weeks. Congratulations on the solid run here tonight, Denny.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for everybody for what y'all do.
And let's see if we can now go down to victory lane, add another driver to the race winners list here on Thursday nights. Let's dial up. First time winner, Cody Lamas. Hey, Cody, it's the guys up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes. Hi. Hello. What's up?
And hopefully you had enough time to catch your breath. Wild final lap there. We saw the move coming out of turn 4. You had just enough momentum to be able to have your splitter back to the start finish line. We talked about how you've had a pretty consistent season, albeit this your first top 5 as well as your first victory. But here tonight, it just kind of seemed like whether it was a playoff driver or a non-playoff driver, everybody had the bring home the trophy or bring home the steering wheel mentality, and it certainly seemed to play into that move you had off of turn 4.
Yeah, those last 2 laps were a range of emotions, because most of that lap I was just like, all right, let's just not turn Denny. Let's see how it works out kind of the line, maybe get a photo finish for, the front 2 and the third. And I'm like, just don't do that. That's goal 1. And then off of turn 2, I'm like, maybe I could go high, but turn 2's so tight, as everybody knows, and I couldn't get it up high, like quick enough up there if I wanted to. Then I was like, that mindset of like, oh, you could have another chance maybe off of 4 if we get it right. So just gave Denny the bump down the back. It worked out. Split up. He pulled a very, half block on me, and it was just like, I'm like, okay, we got this far coming into the trial bowl. All right, now I'm just rambling. And then I'm like, the momentum felt so slow. Those last, 200 feet in the trial bowl? That felt so slow. It was like the longest, however many feet ever coming into that line. And then the momentum finally kicked in, and we got it by a splitter. I'm shocked. I'm honored. And it's
welcome,
nice. Cody. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sure Michael's got something to say.
Well, we can no longer say
hold on to that
that.
thought.
We can no longer say that Cody just runs in the back and doesn't try to race anymore.
Well, thing of it is, Cody, you've been in the conversation a couple of times this season and maybe gotten swept up into some misfortune in the closing stages. A lot of those races were towards the tail end of the regular season when drivers, a lot of them are thinking about points, thinking about the playoffs. Here during the playoffs as well, when a lot of drivers with this chase format are thinking about points, big picture racing. Here tonight, points were pretty much an afterthought. There were only a few drivers that were in the hunt for the overall championship and the bracket challenge championship. Everybody else was caution to the wind. In terms of the feeling of the field, the intensity of the pack that you were in, where did this kind of rank in terms of difficulty in choosing which lane, which moves to make at what time?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys definitely saw at the beginning of the race, everybody was saying that it was some very intense racing up front, and of course, I just had a great view in the back. I was enjoying it, as always.
Stop that.
Hey, it's just one of them things.
I'm guaranteed to make the first 3 races of the season next season, so those races, you better not back out and you're qualifying before qualifying. I swear to God, I'll come back there and push you up front.
But wait, let me finish. I'll answer Seb's question. That intensity of that last pack, it was, there's, we all know how good these guys are. Always respect all of them. And I knew we were in tough company up there. And I went low, and I was like, kind of regretted that, but then everyone kind of merged low and they gave us a chance on the bottom. And it was just, it just all worked out for once. Finally, we conquered the RTG mountain.
Does that mean you're not racing anymore?
No, I'll be here as much as I can. You know me.
Yeah,
Get out of hockey season.
All jokes aside, like once, we didn't really call it at the first half of the race, and once we got pit out of the way, we look up and I noticed you're running in 5th place. Like, how did you get up there after all of that?
Yeah, it was really weird because I believe after the second to last pit stop, I'm always at like last car in the main pack, and I lost the drive, and then I got up with Josh and whoever else were in that pack. We caught back up, and it was just mostly about chilling the entire time. And then they all pitted a little earlier, and I just kind of stayed out the best I could. And then all of a sudden, I honestly feel like I probably got one of my best pit entries I've gotten here at RTG on that last stop. I was just over a little bit in my pit speed, not under. It was perfect. It just all worked out, and then I just got in line and followed everybody, and then just decided to pounce when the opportunity struck.
We've had the pleasure of calling first-time winners here in the Talladega Challenge Series for multiple seasons now, and it always seems like it just takes that first victory for somebody to all of a sudden be able to kind of flip the switch and find the consistency that they need. End of the season now, looking ahead to season 69, what does this victory do for the confidence level, for what you've been able to kind of learn with racing with these drivers and everything, that maybe by next season we're calling you as one of the drivers that's in the chase hunting the championship?
I was really proud with my season overall, I would say. I probably would have thought I could have had a good chance to make the playoffs, but I think 2 weeks in a row I got involved in wrecks of not my doing, of people just not able to save their car and, coming up into you. And I think that's the reason I missed the playoffs. But I say it after...
Cody, you missed the playoffs because you like hockey too much.
Okay, I agree.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But I would say, I say it after ASR on some broadcasts, and I say it all the time. It's just nice to run up there with them, and you always think there's that thought in the back of your head where everybody's like, do they, are they going to work with you? Are they going to trust you? And I've been in here for how long, and I still get that feeling in the back of my mind. But it's just nice to get up there and just show that you can do it, and you can get your trust if needed, maybe down the road. So it's just all about building the respect, building the trust, and and then it'll all work out in the future for you, hopefully.
Well, able to add your name to the list of drivers that have claimed a checkered flag here on Thursday nights in the Talladega Challenge Series. What a way to cap off season 68. We'll let you get back to your celebrating down there in Victory Lane in just a moment. But first, Cody, floor is yours for thank you sponsors and shoutouts.
Oh, thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to just all the league sponsors. Thanks to, I believe it was Tim who pushed me. I don't remember where that orange car was. He said he was going to make it 3 wide on me, maybe, but then he's like, I made such a good move, he'd stick with me to the line.
It was Tim Nofsker, yes.
All right, so I will thank Tim for that he didn't send me 3 wide. And just fun. It's just fun to do. Thanks to the admins. Thanks to everybody who runs these leagues. And we'll see you in a week or 2 for the special event. Hopefully make that race. We'll see you for ASR. We'll see you for all the other ones. Let's keep going.
That's Cody Lamas. He can now call himself a Talladega Challenge Series winner. His first career victory here tonight in the finale of season 68. Congratulations once again, and best of luck in season 69. And let's see if we can now get a hold of the driver, one of our 2 champions here tonight. He's going to claim the Bracket Challenge Championship. He ended up doing so by winning the losers side of the bracket to make it into the finals. Let's get a hold of Jeremy Jeffries. Hey, Jeremy, the guy's up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Man, I'll tell you what, 1 week ago, a 7th place finish sends the finals into a rubber match here tonight. A 6th place finish enough to wrap up the Bracket Challenge Championship. You got eliminated in that Bracket Challenge, put down on the loser side, able to fight your way back up here to the finals. Didn't have to win this race to be able to claim the championship. The consistency inside the top 10 back-to-back weeks claims it for you. We were seeing just about this entire race, maybe the first 2/3. Wherever the 0-1 was, the 24 car was, obviously keeping tabs on each other, it seemed. How were you able to put together both the solid weeks, last week and this week, to be able to take this title?
I guess I had a little bit of luck. There wasn't much strategy there. My strategy was see where Joe's at, watch where Joe's at, try to be in front of where Joe's at, and in the race in front of Joe. That's all it was these past 2 weeks was Joe. And we kept racing around each other, both races.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you came to pit road with a group aside from Despirito, and that ended up having you up in the lead pack. He got shuffled back. What went into that strategy call?
I don't think that he got out with a big group of cars, and I was still in a pretty good pack of cars, so I thought maybe we would be running faster, and we actually did catch him and put him a lap down before we pitted. So that was the strategy there, is just try to be faster for a few laps until I had to pit, and hope that I could get out in front of him, because I blew third gear on that first caution. So if we'd had more than one restart, I probably would have been in trouble, but we only had that one restart, that one caution, which helped me out a bunch too.
Yeah, we saw you lose that gear. We documented it on that restart. You've had a really solid, consistent season. It looks like unofficially you're going to finish second in the overall points here, but winless nonetheless. I know the championship here this evening has got to be great for you, but how much more motivated are you going to be going into season 69 to get that victory, maybe very early on out of the gate?
It'd be nice, but I was just talking with Joe before I got pulled into the booth here, and we were talking about how much more consistency matters in this format. It's not all about wins anymore. Sure, wins help, but I started out the season with 2 30-something place finishes, so to make it back up into second, starting the chase, I think in 12th, I was 30-something points behind Joe from the start of the chase. So I actually made up points on him, so I consider that a win overall as far as making up points on him in the chase and getting the bracket win. So I can't be disappointed.
You mentioned about your strategy here tonight was stay around Joe, finish ahead of Joe. Obviously, at the point in time that we took the white flag, Joe was back in that second group. You were up there in that lead pack with a shot of winning this thing. Were you at that point in time still big picture racing for the championship, or were you like what it seemed for most of the drivers up in that group in the just race it out for the championship, or not for the championship, for the victory here tonight, have that that devil may care attitude, see if you could end out season 68 with that final checkered flag?
All I was looking at is where Joe was. I wasn't worried about the win because I knew that was probably going to be a long shot. I mean, I think if I'd won the race, I still would have been second in points. So it was, I said this might as well have been the Joe 66 because that's all it was for me.
Able to put together 2 solid, consistent top 10 finishes to close out the season. Able to take the Bracket Challenge Championship. Congratulations on a job well done. A solid 6th place here tonight as well, so some good momentum with a solid finish to build towards the beginning of season 69, and we'll let you get back to celebrating this championship here tonight. Before we do, Jeremy, floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Oh yeah, congrats to Joe. What a great season, and he played it right, had the right strategy there, won a bunch of stage points. Anybody's seen the stage points that we've been putting up every week? He's just dominated the stage points for the season. So he's had a really good season and paid off. Thanks to you all for the broadcast. Jack, Seth, Blaine. Love having this tag team operation here on Thursdays. It's so good to watch back. Thanks to Josh, Rodney, and Tim, admins here on Thursday. They put on a great series, a great season, and there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of headaches, a lot of cautions, and then we come out and have a great race like that to finish the season. It makes it all worth it. And owners here, Sean, Schick, and Josh, Thank you, all the other admins, all the drivers that come out here every week and race and donate and just keep us going. It's much appreciated. Everybody out there watching, friends, family, XFN teammates. You all have a great night and a great off week or two.
That's Jeremy Jeffries. He is your season 68 Talladega Challenge Series Bracket Challenge Champion. Congratulations on a job well done. Solid finish in the points as well here to close out the season, and best of luck in season 69.
Thank you.
And let's see if we can now go down to championship victory lane and dial up the overall champion of season 68. Let's get a hold of that 24 of Joe DeSpirito. Hey, Joe, it's the guys up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys. How you doing?
Well, man, I'll tell you what. The stage points that you were able to accumulate this season, the consistency with which you were able to have during the regular season and the chase. A 14th last week, an 11th place here this week, but you had enough of a cushion built up that you were able to keep Ulysses Sandoval and Jeremy Jeffries at bay. You are the season 68 champion. It's got to feel good, but it might have gotten a little nerve-wracking for you there when you came out and worked with that lead pack after that final pit stop.
Yeah, I had a slow pit stop there. My pit crew's done great for me all year, and then all of a sudden, last stop of the season, they're having an issue with the fuel can. So yeah, I came out slow, caught a couple guys, and a lot of guys got caught speeding at the end there, so I ended up passing like 6 or 7 guys at the end there to gain some points, and I think I would have been okay where I finished if Ulysses didn't wreck out there. I was kind of watching where he was, but yeah, I saw him wreck out on the backstretch, and I kind of started celebrating.
Yeah, you obviously, coming into this race, knew the interval between you and Ulysses. Ulysses, I think, got a couple of stage points. You finished outside of the top 10. How easy, how difficult was it to count cars, count points, and figure out exactly where you needed to be in relation to him to make sure that you still had that buffer?
Yeah, it's hard to do that while you're racing. That kind of, you start getting nervous and, yeah, counting numbers and points and cars and what lane. It gets too tedious and stuff when you start doing that. So you kind of just got to race your race. And was I keep an eye on him a little bit? Yeah, but you really got to focus on yourself, because then you'll get caught sleeping and you'll be in the wrong lane and you'll go straight to the back. So it's kind of a mixture of both, but it's more, racing your own race and seeing how the chips fall at the end.
There's that old adage, consistency wins championships, and obviously with this new chase format, certainly that had to be taken to heart for yourself and the rest of the playoff drivers. With what you've been able to do here in season 68, what's some of the things you'll kind of be looking back over in this championship run to apply in season 69 to look to go back-to-back?
Well, it was, for me, the key was the regular season. I ran hard in the regular season. Had some great finishes, and I ended up with that regular season championship. And, that gives you all the bonus points. And, I don't want to say I coasted in the playoffs, but I was a little more careful in the playoffs because I had that buffer, and that's kind of how it worked out. So it rewards consistency, but that was the key, and that's how it all worked out.
Obviously, as well, we talked about the stats in terms of the stage points. You came into this race, I think, with 84 stage points. Next closest was at 75, and then third on down were in the high 40s. Obviously, that seemed to be a big way for you to be able to build that buffer as well. How high a priority are stage points going to be for you next season as well?
Yeah, that's a big key. This new format is great, and there's people that gamble for the stage points and take less fuel and do all that, and that's a strategy. But being that it's at halfway, again, that's one of the keys for rewarding consistency is who's up there at halfway, because odds are that those people are going to be there at the end. So yeah, that's key. Me and Bob were 1-2 on the stage points this year, and we took advantage of it.
When you win a championship and head into the next season, is there less pressure with the fact that, obviously, we've documented you're a multi-time champion, add another championship trophy to your collection? Is there less pressure knowing that you've got those championships to fall back on, or is there more pressure in that first race to perform and kind of get the season started off on a high note to make that run, keep that consistency going from one season to the next?
I wouldn't say that. I would say there was pressure building with me over the last 3 years. I didn't win a championship for the last 3 years. Whether it was mod changes, points format changes, my internet just crapping out on me, and everything that happened, it was just pressure on myself building up inside. Can I still win? I don't know and then we get back to this men's cup, and I tell you what, every championship I've won has been in this men's cup 19 mod. It's great for pushing. It's great for the super speedways. I won everything in that, and it was really just the pressure on myself for the last 3 years. But going into next season, I kind of feel like I have a monkey off my back again.
Well, able to take the championship here tonight after an incredibly consistent regular season and chase. We'll let you get back to your celebrating. It was nice to see those reverse burnouts there on the back straightaway as you celebrate this Season 68 championship for the Talladega Challenge Series. Joe, the floor is yours for Championship Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors and shout-outs.
Thanks, guys. 7 championships is crazy. I can't believe it. I want to thank everybody I race with every week. Rolling Thunder Gaming, this is the best league for this game, NR2003. Again, all the points changes, mods changes, format changes, internet, everything that's happened to me over the last 3 years. I'm so glad to have the trophy back again. I can't believe it. I want to thank everybody at RTG, all the admins, you guys at FRN, Tarnation TV, Race LM. I got to thank Rodney. Rodney with Sullen's Paints, always doing a great job. His cars look great. But I got to thank my guy, Mob's Motors, Bernie, always painting my cars, looking great on the track. My crew, Bob and Bernie, and my sponsors, Old City Fly Shop. And I want to remember all the fallen drivers, guys like Bones and everybody we've lost here at RTG. And everybody at home watching, Uncle T, LC, Dan, and all my work buddies. Thanks, guys.
Well, that is Joe DeSpirito. He is your Season 68 Talladega Challenge Series champion. Congratulations on an incredible season. Best of luck in Season 69. Go and enjoy this championship victory. There you go. That's Joe DeSpirito, your champion here tonight. Jeremy Jeffries, your bracket challenge champion. Cody Lamas, your race winner. It's so interesting, Kyle, Jack, that there always seems to be a takeaway at the end of these interviews. And who would have thought that in a season finale where a driver gets their first career win, another driver gets their 7th career championship, the running theme between the two of them is, this was a prove it to myself race. For Cody, it's to prove that I can race with these guys, that I belong, that I'm able to get the trust of these drivers. For Joe, it's the prove to myself that I can still win races. I can still be consistent. I can still win championships. It's been 3 years since the last time I claimed a title on Thursday nights.
What, Tyler Breeze? Only me and Kyle would get that reference.
Yeah. But it is hard to believe, hard to believe that, Joe DeSpirito would feel like he had something to prove there. You mentioned he'd won, 6 championships before tonight. He's, every season that I've covered this series with you guys, he's always been a threat to win. He's won multiple races. He's been in contention to win championships. So to hear that is very surprising.
I honestly feel like it kind of makes the races just that much better as well, too, when you consider how long RTG has been around for, how long the Talladega Challenge has been around for, how often these drivers have been competing, how many different seasons that they've been involved in this competition, and they still feel like they have something to prove, not just to themselves, but maybe the rest of everybody that's watching as well. It's just absolutely insane. And I think we're getting incredible races because of it, as we saw tonight with this epic finale.
An incredible way to bookmark an incredible season here for this Talladega Challenge Series. Another photo finish, a first-time winner, a now 7-time champion in DeSpirito. Jeremy Jeffries finding the consistency late to be able to snipe the Bracket Challenge Championship. What an incredible 15 races this has been, from the start of the season into the regular season finale, setting the table for the chase and the final race here tonight. Makes you wonder what's in store in 3 weeks' time when these drivers will grid back up and begin a new journey in season 69. Drivers that had solid, consistent seasons will look to continue it. Drivers that may have struggled this season will look for a comeback run. It'll be really interesting to see just exactly what the future holds here for this series. But what an incredible week it's been here. Grant Wesley picking up 3 championships. Joe DeSpirito with the championship here tonight in the Talladega Challenge Series. That's going to do it for Championship Week here for Rolling Thunder Gaming in Season 68. We thank you for joining us here on FRN and Tarnation TV during the course of this entire season, our entire broadcasting of these 15 incredible races. We have seen everything from photo finishes to fuel strategy races. Cannot wait to see what the brand new season has in store. These drivers, they'll have a couple of weeks off before they'll get back to it. Of course, we have in between now and then on August the 27th, we will see the Bones 00300 Memorial. That's 2 weeks from tonight, honoring David Cannon as well as all of the fallen members of the RTG family. So be sure to tune to that. That'll be the precursor to set us up for this new season. We will have broadcasts here on FRN and Tarnation TV covering those seasons. Monday night, the Bare Bones Racing Series. Tuesday night, the iRacing Series. Wednesday night, the Aero 88 Series. And Thursday night, this Talladega Challenge Series. But until the next time that we see you folks, thank you for tuning to our coverage here tonight and throughout this 68th season. Once again, congratulations to Joe DeSpirito. He is your Season 68 Talladega Challenge Series champion. For Jack Mitchell, Kyle Matthews, Blaine Donlin, I'm Seth Cole. Thanks for spending your Thursday night with us, folks. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the Flat Out Racing Network and Tarnation TV.
Swing open, and the dead come roaring Turn 1 wears a widow's veil, turn 4 keeps a rotten grin. Ghost cars line the pit road wall, waiting for the green to spin. A black flag snaps above the booth, no living hand is on the wheel. The starter drops the midnight cloth, and every phantom hits the steel. Hear that thunder underground, feel the guardrails start to shake.